Hi and welcome back or welcome to Daily Forecast Australia. My name is Lisa. It is Thursday the 9th of April. Thank you so much for your patience yesterday. My daily forecast was a little slow getting out in the morning. It raised the topic of conversation about our Bureau of Meteorology updates regarding Tropical Cyclone Maila. Now, I had some suggestions in the comments saying, hey, why don't you just wait a little later in the morning to get your forecasts up online, because then we can incorporate the 5 a.m. update. What I typically decide to do when we have a really major weather event, like we had with Cyclone Narelle, like it looks like we're about to have with Cyclone Maila, I usually put out a second video in the day. So without taking too much of your time before we even get stuck into today's forecast, the only reason I don't delay my upload till later in the morning is because when we have something really major happening, I will get the most up-to-date update from the Bureau and incorporate that into a special edition forecast. Okay, let's go. Let's get stuck into it today. Now, I know this is a little bit of an oxymoron because my main weather event is supposed to be one weather event, but I have three to mention. So let's start. The first and most significant continues to be severe tropical cyclone Maila. This system remains a powerful Category 4 storm in the Solomon Sea with sustained winds of 175 kilometers per hour and gusts reaching 250 kilometers per hour. Now, the Bureau's latest forecast track map confirms that Maila is expected to move into the Coral Sea over the weekend before tracking towards the Far North Queensland coast, with a potential Cape York Peninsula crossing early next week. Notice the forecast schedule shifting from what we discussed yesterday. Now, steering influences around the system do remain weak, so Maila is slow moving for now, but the direction of travel is becoming clearer with each and every update, so please stay tuned to my channel. The second story is damaging winds. We have a warning issued for parts of Victoria, including the alpine regions above 1,200 metres. We have an approaching cold front. It's expected to generate damaging northwesterly winds, averaging 60 to 70 kilometre per hour winds with peak gusts of around about 100 kilometers per hour. And that's developing across the eastern ranges from late this afternoon. In exposed alpine areas, those gusts could even exceed 110 kilometers per hour tonight. Locations for this warning include Falls Creek, Mount Hotham, Mount Buller, Mount Baw Baw and Omeo. They are all within the warning zones. Now, the winds are supposed to or expected to ease into late tomorrow morning. The third story that I want to discuss is separate but also related to damaging winds, and it's for the Snowy Mountains region of New South Wales. Again, northwesterly winds ahead of the same approaching cold front. That's forecast to produce damaging winds of 60 to 70 kilometers per hour, and that's going to be in elevated areas in the alpine region above 1,400 meters. That's going to happen late this evening. Areas up above 1,900 meters potentially seeing winds around about 90 kilometers per hour with peak gusts in excess of 100 kilometers per hour. That's going to affect locations including Thredbo, Perisher, and Charlotte Pass. Conditions are expected to ease late tomorrow afternoon. Now, moving into our synoptic picture for today, just as a warning, it really does pack a bit of a punch today. We've got a lot to get through. Starting with Cyclone Maila in the Solomon Sea. So through the course of today, Maila's central pressure is going to fluctuate. Here we see that on the Synoptic Chart as we scan through the day. Now, the system is maintaining its intensity of a powerful Category 4 cyclone, and it does remain very slow moving. If we compare it to Narelle, very slow moving. Steering influences around Maila here remain weak through today, keeping the system in the Solomon Sea for now. But as we look later in today, we can start to begin to see the isobar pattern along the northeast Queensland coastline starting to tighten as Maila's outer circulation here gradually pushes westward into the Coral Sea. Now, this is the earlier look of what is becoming increasingly significant for our onshore flow here along the Queensland coast as we progress through to the end of this week. Now, to the west of the continent here, we have this high pressure system, about 1,024, 1,026 hectopascals. It's firmly established and it is strengthening through today. Now, as I discussed with you yesterday, it is this ridge here that the Bureau expects to become a very dominant steering influence on Maila over this coming weekend. It's expected to push the system west-southwesterly towards the Cape York Peninsula. Now you can see here on the chart that this high is maintaining its position and it is building in intensity. And this is broadly consistent with what the Bureau has forecast with their track narrative. Across the mainland interior here, this high pressure we've just been discussing, it is keeping conditions broadly consistent with what we've been discussing over the past few forecasts. It's going to be calm and settled. We've got these widely spaced isobars here across the outback indicating light and variable winds for most of the inland area today. However, let's shift our attention down here. The most active part of our synoptic chart for mainland Australia today is in the southeast. We have a deep and compact low pressure system. It's developed down here south of the continent. Through today, the central pressure drops. It's down here south of Tasmania. Now, this system is driving those damaging wind warnings that I mentioned for Victoria and New South Wales. As this low deepens and as it associates this cold front here, it's advancing northwards into the southeastern regions of Australia through this afternoon and this evening. We see here, look at the isobars across the Bass Strait, Victoria, southeastern New South Wales. It's all tightening significantly. And that is very obvious as we go into this evening and into the tonight time frame. Now let's take a look at the rain and thunderstorm activity across Australia. We'll just move right along. Let's first look. We've got a very active weather day today actually. So the headline rainfall story today is the cold front. I just mentioned it. It's a band sweeping across the southeast of Australia, west to east throughout today. Now through this morning, this line of shower activity, it will have some associated thunderstorms. It's already pushing through South Australia right now as we speak, with Adelaide expected to pick up 10 to 15 mils of rainfall. There will be locally intense pockets embedded in this line. Ceduna here all across the surrounding air peninsula will receive sporadic rainfall as well. Now as we move through the afternoon, look at this band. It's broadening. It tracks progressively across Australia. It is delivering widespread light to moderate rainfall across most of the state with embedded thunderstorm activity, and that's going to add bursts of heavier rainfall throughout this afternoon. By this evening, the cold front has pushed into eastern Victoria, or it will push into eastern Victoria. It's going to sweep up here across the Bass Strait, across into eastern Victoria, and the most active part of this band is now concentrated on the eastern ranges of the alpine areas, and that is consistent with those damaging winds. I won't repeat myself for a third time. Now, the combination of the heavy rainfall, those damaging winds that's expected, all of that happening up here in the alpine regions through this evening. Please be aware, if you're a bushwalker, if you're a mountain biker, if you're a farmer, if anything, if you are outdoors and you're in that region, please just take this very seriously for this afternoon and for tonight. For this afternoon and then overnight tonight, and then we see here into the early hours of tomorrow morning, the activity pushes into southern New South Wales, so areas around Jindabyne, Thredbo Village, Perisher Valley, all of these alpine regions, even up into the ACT. Easily rainfall up to 5 mils tomorrow. There are again going to be isolated pockets, more like about 10 to 20 mils of rainfall expected. Now the good news is that by late morning tomorrow, the bulk of this frontal activity will have pushed off through and conditions will improve in the southeast. Tasmania really will notice this. Tasmania is also going to see shower activity throughout the day. Light to moderate falls, particularly around the south of the island. We're going to cover this in a moment in our rain accumulation, all due to that frontal system. Up in the top end of the Northern Territory, Darwin sees developing convective activity once again through this afternoon and this evening. Only falls of about 5 mils with isolated pockets of heavier rainfall. Further inland, we've got an isolated cluster of thunderstorm activity developing once again in the Warburton region of Western Australia through this afternoon and this evening. Light, but worth noting nonetheless. Elsewhere across the country, the interior does remain largely dry. We see that here. Queensland really only seeing very isolated light activity today, and Maila continues to sit well offshore up here, thank goodness. Now let's take a look at our peak temperatures across the country today. How are we going for time? Starting in Western Australia, as we always do, up in the Kimberley region, Kununurra will reach 33 today also for Fraser Downs, and 30 degrees for Broome. Temperatures are going to ease as we head south. Port Denison will reach 23 on the southwest coast here. Cooler again in the south, 20 degrees at Busselton and 18 at Augusta. Along the south coast, Bremer Bay will reach 17 today, and it remains very hot in the interior. Warburton will climb to 36 degrees this afternoon. Flying up into the Northern Territory now, hot conditions continue across the top end. Darwin will reach 30 degrees today, 31 at Bullman and 33 at Daly Waters. Heading inland, Uluru will reach 35 and Alice Springs will come in at 32 degrees. Across into Queensland now, it remains hot in the interior with Mount Isa reaching 32 degrees, a very hot 37 degrees at Baduri today and 36 at Birdsville. Along the southeast coast, temperatures hover in the mid-20s. It'll be 25 on the Gold Coast and 25 also for Brisbane. Tracking up the tropical coast, Townsville will reach 27, 26 for Cairns and 27 for Lockhart River. Now back down, we're going south into New South Wales now. The interior remains very hot. It will be 35 degrees at Milparinka. It'll be 37 at Burke and 33 at Griffith. Walgett will reach 35. Heading towards the coast now, Tenterfield will reach 27. 27 also for Coffs Harbour on the coast. 29 at Gloucester this afternoon and 28 for Merewether. Further south along the coast, for Ulladulla, it will be 25 degrees, and right down in the south, it'll be 23 at Eden. Now, as this frontal system encroaches on the alpine regions of New South Wales and the Victorian Highlands here, peak temperatures are going to drop, and they will be peak temperatures today of about 12 degrees for Perisher, Thredbo, Falls Creek, and Mount Hotham. And those damaging winds also forecast for those elevated areas tonight. Conditions in the high country are going to be harsh. I just wanted to make note of that. No sheep graziers warning out just yet though. I did check the temperatures. I thought, oh, what if we get some snowfall out of this? Nothing predicted. It won't even be frosty tomorrow morning, but the winds are going to keep those temperatures down. In the north of Victoria, we have warmer conditions persisting. It'll be 27 degrees at Manangatang and 26 at Mildura. Along the Great Ocean Road, it'll be 20 at Nelson and Portland and Apollo Bay. Melbourne City will reach 23 degrees in the middle of the afternoon today. Into South Australia, the outback is sweltering. I will not sugarcoat it. Temperatures in the very high 30s along the South Australian and Northern Territory border today. Unandatta will reach 38, 37 for Mungarani, and moving towards the ranges, Wilpena Pound will reach 24, so a significant drop there, and Adelaide coming in at 20. Ceduna will be 22. So once again, we see a very significant temperature contrast across South Australia today. Finally, into Tassie, Hobart will reach a peak temperature of 17 this afternoon, 16 for Launceston, 15 for Queenstown, and 18 degrees at St Helens. Now let's take a look at our wind picture across Australia today. Now, as we touched on already, I promise I will not repeat myself too much. We have the most significant wind activity on the mainland. It's concentrated in the southeast. We've got the approaching cold front coming across, generating those damaging wind conditions. We just see that here with our gust layer on. Look at the bright colours we see across southern Victoria, across the Highlands, here in the Bass Strait. Tasmania for sure, showing these deep pink and purple tones, gusts in excess of, well in excess of 70 kilometres per hour in most of these exposed areas, with the alpine regions really bearing the brunt of those damaging winds today and into tonight. Across the remainder of the continent, we see that the interior sits under very light conditions. So that deep blue, that colour there we see, that confirms winds well under 20 kilometres, not 20 degrees, 20 kilometres per hour for most of these inland areas. Across the northwest, the Kimberley coast is expecting very light conditions today with sustained winds of anywhere between 2 to 12 kilometre per hour gusts, very modest winds, and it'll be a beautiful, warm, calm day up there today. Down in the Southern Ocean, the deep low down here that we discussed on our synoptic layer of the forecast is generating that extremely strong wind. Look at it here on our gust map. It's well south of the continent, and those conditions, they are having a direct impact on us. Now let's look at our cloud cover and our satellite imagery across Australia. The most visually striking feature, see if you can see it before I name it, to me anyway, it is the cold front, and that's this cloud band sweeping across the southern states today. That's happening through this morning. It sits out here across Western Australia, down in the Bight, South Australia. As we see, we move through the afternoon. You can watch it advance across. It progresses eastwards. It's thickening. It's broadening as it tracks across Victoria through this afternoon and this evening. By this evening, this cloud band is going to be concentrated here across the Bass Strait, all over the Victorian alpine region. By midnight tonight, the front will largely push through Victoria and it's tracking towards southeastern New South Wales overnight. Tassie is going to sit under persistent grey cloud throughout the day today and into tonight as the front passes over. And then we look at the northeast, look at Maila. The cloud mass here, that it remains very compact, doesn't it? It is well organised out in the Solomon Sea. Now, what's worth noting here on the midnight time frame tonight is that Maila's surrounding cloud field here, it appears to have expanded, or at least to me, slightly westward. Now, this could be an early visual indicator of the system beginning to shift its orientation as the steering pattern starts to evolve this way. Now, rest assured, I will be watching this very closely. Let's quickly look at our rainfall accumulation. I'm not going to dwell on this section today. Over the next 24 hours, look here, our main areas of accumulation are focused on southeast Australia with the frontal band delivering light to moderate falls across Victoria, eastern South Australia and into New South Wales. Tassie also seeing accumulations of about 3 to 10 mils over the next 24 hours. Now, extending out to our 3-day picture, the rainfall is spread, in my opinion, fairly evenly if we trust our European model right now. I checked the GFS and it's even worse. So let's just go with what I believe is the most reliable. We've got evenly spread rainfall across Victoria, New South Wales, South Australia and WA. WA could be lighter falls than what's predicted here over the next 3 days, if I'm being honest. But anywhere between 10 to 25 mils coming over the next 3 days would not surprise me at all. To me, Tassie, clearly the standout based on our 3-day outlook. Some locations here along the west coast potentially seeing totals of up to 100 mils if we are to believe the Euro. Now, significantly higher, that is significantly higher than anywhere else on our mainland map. So that's worth noting. And as always, Maila up here, the accumulation field, it really dominates our chart up here. Totals well in excess of 300 mils with this system's core. Okay, now before we wrap up, a very quick note on our warnings. The good news is that those marine wind warnings for New South Wales, the Queensland coast, they have now been cancelled, which is great. Marine wind warnings do, however, remain active for Western Australia, South Australia, Victoria and Tasmania. So please check the Bureau if you are planning any time on the water today or tomorrow. Now, if you want to laugh, stay on the channel for about 20 more seconds. I will add some bloopers from this morning. I'm always just having a merry old time here by myself. So today I thought I'd share some of those moments with you. Thank you once again for joining me. If this was your first time here on my channel, once again, my name's Lisa. It's only me. I am the face behind this channel. So we're a team of one. But because of you and because of the lovely comments that I receive every day underneath every forecast, I just keep coming back and doing it all again. So if you've enjoyed your time here and if it was your first time, please consider subscribing. If you're a long-time viewer, say hi in the comments. But for today, that is it. I'll be back again tomorrow, Friday, with your daily forecast. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. What day is it? Thursday. Along the See, I do have legs. Okay, let's rearrange this. Let's get into it.